Imagine Roger Waters, the rebellious designer of Pink Floyd's most ambitious works, seated down to unveil the darker side of his time in the band, but this time the emphasis is on David Gilmour, the guitar prodigy and vocalist behind many of the band's classic songs. Waters talks about what he believes to be Gilmour's jealousies, insecurities, and personal and professional disputes that not only ended their collaboration but also had an impact well beyond Pink Floyd's boundaries. The tension between Waters and Gilmour was building long before it was made public. Their creative dynamic was complex. Waters was the visionary lyricist weaving dark introspective narratives, while Gilmour's guitar work gave those stories their soul-stirring resonance. But as Pink Floyd's success skyrocketed in the 1970s, their partnership began to crumble under the weight of clashing egos and competing ambitions. During the recording of The Wall in 1979, the cracks became undeniable. Waters took the reins, asserting near total control over the project, while Gilmour struggled to carve out space for his contributions. The result was a tense, hostile environment where every decision felt like a battle. Waters saw Gilmour's reluctance to embrace his vision as a lack of commitment, while Gilmour resented Waters' authoritarian approach. By the time the final cut was released in 1983, the two were barely speaking. For Gilmour, the bitterness wasn't just about music, it was personal. He reportedly felt overshadowed by Waters' towering presence in the band, and his growing resentment manifested in subtle cutting waves, revisions to solos, last-minute changes to arrangements, and an ever-present tension that made collaboration nearly impossible. Gilmour's envy, as portrayed by Waters, extended beyond their time together. Even when Waters left the band in 1985, Gilmour was committed to demonstrating that Pink Floyd could succeed without him, releasing albums like The Division and A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Bell demonstrated Gilmour's melodic genius, but they were also criticized for not having the depth and conceptual ambition that characterized the band's previous work. For Waters, this was evidence that Pink Floyd required his dark, cerebral touch to really shine. Imagine the frustration of being celebrated as a guitar legend, but always feeling like your artistry is being written off as secondary, with each achievement tarnished by the unsaid question of whether it could ever match up to what the band had accomplished together. Gilmour's post-Waters Pink Floyd became his means of showcasing his legacy, but the shadow of their competition loomed large. Gilmour's complicated relationship with Pink Floyd's original frontman, Syd Barrett, adds another level of drama to his story. When Barrett's mental health and substance abuse issues forced the band to split from him in 1968, Gilmour was brought in to fill the void. But this wasn't a smooth transition. Barrett was already spiraling and reportedly saw Gilmour as both a savior and a usurper who was taking his place while trying to keep the band afloat. Years later, Gilmour expressed regret over how Barrett was treated, but their relationship remained strained. Barrett's decline into isolation and his eventual death in 2006 left Gilmour to deal with the guilt of what could have been done differently outside of Pink Floyd's ethereal world. David Gilmour's reputation for meticulousness and his unshakable dedication to excellence has caused him to battle with his contemporaries' creative rhythms. One instance of this occurred in the late 1980s when Gilmour and Ringo Starr met. What should have been a harmonious partnership between two iconic individuals swiftly devolved into a creative battleground that exposed the stark differences in their personalities and artistic philosophies. Imagine this: Ringo, the Beatles' easygoing and laid-back drummer, known for his humor and natural musicality, enters a studio expecting a fluid and laid-back creative environment. Across the room stands David Gilmour, was a man whose meticulousness and drive for perfection frequently left little room for spontaneity. What started out as an exhilarating collaboration between two rock titans turned into a confrontation between radically different approaches. Gilmour had an extremely rigorous approach to the job. Each note and arrangement had to be painstakingly created, refined, and idealized for him. Starr, on the other hand, represented the spirit of improvisation and brought a natural, unstructured energy to the table, but to Gilmour, this laid-back style verged on recklessness. Music was a trade that required discipline and control. Every session turned into an ego battle, with Starr arguing for spontaneity and Gilmour demanding perfection. The tension in the recording sessions increased. Starr felt trapped and micromanaged by Gilmour's unrelenting pursuit of accuracy. Gilmour's demands were not only excessive, but also incompatible with the collaborative attitude he loved. Gilmour, in turn, interpreted Starr's light-hearted manner as a lack of seriousness. A cavalier attitude that grated against his own disciplined work ethic, and heated exchanges became the norm, with either man willing to compromise on their vision. As their disagreements escalated, the collaboration began to unravel. The creative tension that might have fueled something extraordinary instead became a wedge that pushed them apart. By the time the project collapsed, it left both men disillusioned. Starr reportedly walked away feeling that Gilmour's rigidity had made the process unbearable, while Gilmour saw the experience as a reminder of the frustrations of working outside his carefully controlled environment. Though their conflict didn't spill into the public eye, its impact lingered for Gilmour. It underscored the challenges of stepping outside his Pink Floyd bubble, where his perfectionism was both understood and accommodated for Starr. It was a stark contrast to the collaborative magic he had experienced with the Beatles, a reminder that even among legends harmony is not always guaranteed. The clash with Starr revealed a deeper truth about Gilmour. His brilliance as a musician was inextricably tied to his uncompromising nature. While this made him a master of his craft, it also isolated him from those who couldn't adapt to his demanding standards. In the end, the failed collaboration served as a testament to the complexity of genius and the human tensions that even celebrities cannot escape. Beneath the fame and soaring guitar solos, David Gilmour rarely let the world witness his first marriage to Virginia Hazenbein, a union that started with promise and hope but gradually fell apart under the pressure of his demanding career picture. Gilmour spent countless nights in the studio working on the complex album production, while his wife and young children waited at home, feeling the void left by his absence. While the world rejoiced in Pink Floyd's victories, the unrelenting cycle of touring and recording took its toll, making the pursuit of musical excellence unavoidable but excruciatingly expensive. With each sold-out performance and late-night recording session, Virginia's emotional distance from their family grew as they were left to do the duties of raising them alone. Growing up in the Gilmour household was bittersweet on two levels. On the one hand, they had a father whose music had been passed down through the generations, a man who was adored by millions. On the other hand, they had to deal with the difficulties of being the children of a man who was frequently absent both physically and emotionally. Imagine the bittersweet feeling of pride mixed with longing as they watched their father perform to adoring fans, knowing he might miss another milestone in their lives. Gilmour's marriage disintegrated in the late 1918s, marking a turning point. It was more than simply a breakup. It was a wake-up call for a man who had dedicated his life to achieving artistic excellence. Gilmour later remarried, finding stability and comfort with his second wife Polly Sampson, but the dissolution of his family forced him to face the sacrifices he had made along the way. The quiet moments following the divorce were filled with introspection and an opportunity to wrestle with the question that had plagued him for a long time: was the cost of success worth it? Even as he established a new life, the consequences of his previous failures influenced how he approached his family and his work. The wounds from his first marriage persisted, serving as a reminder of the delicate balance between ambition and neglect. While Gilmour's personal struggles were not unique to rock stars, they did highlight a sharp contrast between the man behind closed doors and the man on stage. Fans witnessed a calm, reflective musician whose music seemed to flow naturally, while his family witnessed a man struggling with the fallout from his decisions. Gilmour's legacy stands as a testament to both his genius and his humanity. His guitar work has moved millions of people, but his journey has been marked by jealousy, conflict, and the weight of expectations that few could ever bear. From his battles with Waters to his uneasy relationship with Barrett, and even his clashes with Starr, his story serves as a poignant reminder that even the most iconic figures are not immune to the difficulties of maintaining harmony between their public and private lives today, as Waters' revelations reignite the long-standing controversy surrounding Pink Floyd's fractured history. Gilmour's tale is one of genius tempering by hardship. As the music industry considers Waters' words, one thing is certain: David Gilmour's story, like the music he helped create, will continue to captivate, inspire, and spark debate for generations to come. It serves as a reminder that even the most famous musicians are fundamentally human and motivated by the same fears, aspirations, and struggles as the rest of us. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you find this content interesting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest updates. See you in the next video.